You see, I waited just long enough for you to curse after
Good.
saying I'm gonna hit record because I figured you were, because you're that
Good,
kind
because I
of
was trying to do it
up,
early.
upstanding young individual who plays characters who are also upstanding young individuals. And speaking about your upstanding young individuals, this is the special episode of Heroes School, the in between season episode called The Return Home.
Hold on. Can I do it? Can I do it?
No, what?
Return to Burtonville now.
Return to Burtonville. This time on Hero School, our intrepid young adventurers have been waiting the 10 days. Yes, that's right. 10 days for the full force and might of the Gun Maiden's company to fall in. And fall in they have, ushering the full force of their sky fleet, carrying their infantry, their heavy infantry, and their super heavy infantry in the form of an entire squad of golem armor wearing warriors, including the Gun Maiden herself, Captain Tillyfizz Gainer. So on the departure, before
Captain Tillyfizz?
Captain, her name is Tillyfizz.
Tillyfizz or Tillyfist?
Tillyfizz.
Tillyfizz, okay.
Tillyfizz. Yeah, talk about taking the wind out of somebody's sails.
Tilly Fizz. Got it.
Jeez.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Yeah. So,
Sorry for interrupting. I apologize.
let me continue to roleplay with the brand new tempo. So, this time on Heroes Call. But before you gentlemen, you very young gentlemen leave Burtonville, is there anything you want to do, anything you want to say, or do you want to get along with the travel time?
I take it we're just approaching the city, are we?
You're just about to leave Mitzelberg.
All right.
I want to know if you wanted to do anything, in this time period, or would you like to skip ahead a little bit?
Well, Michaelis will be just amazed that they're finally going. But probably quite excited to see how fast these ships can move. Trying to look useful, but just staying out of the way and letting the army and Tillyfizz get moving.
Are you guys taking your own skyship, or are you hopping onto one of the Gun Maiden's skyships?
The fastest one, because ours will be slower.
Yeah, her fastest ships don't have her on it. They have her light infantry. She is in the 10 days it's taken, right? After she gives like the debriefing, you get to know a little bit more about the company and about her specifically. She's known as the Gun Maiden. And she's actually a golem armor pilot.
I hate to do this, guys.
So,
Can you pause the recording? I gotta take like 4 or 5 minutes.
we just
I gotta
started and
carry
we
shit.
already have a word from our sponsors.
I'm sorry, dude. I gotta carry shit in. I'll do it as fast as possible.
I can just fill up and talk.
Yeah, just do that. I'll be back as soon as I can. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can only stop recordings. I can't pause them. But maybe I can edit it afterwards. I don't have enough to do.
I'm sure Jenny Gainer's ship is going to be returned to her at some point.
Yeah, probably at some point. Oh,
But
wow,
I can imagine also the captain. On the first day, Burtonville had words with Michaelis and helped him out in a few things.
Yeah.
Trying to get over the trauma of getting his wing ripped off.
Yeah.
Don't know if he can ever lose that memory though.
Yeah, when you guys so far the Iron Horse, you haven't seen the Iron Horse. You've been notified of its departure, right? That it, the mayor had commandeered the Iron Horse upon its completion to start evacuating citizens. But after that last communique, it's been dead. There's been no more, no more birds carrying any more messages to you guys in Burtonville.
Okay. So, yes, this happened.
Yeah, and you got that message a few days after arriving at Burtonville. And of course, it's been a 10 straight days.
Has any of the messages indicated that things have been really desperate? Has there been open warfare?
Well, the dragon. The dragon creature, the dragon creature has been tearing up a lot of Burtonville. And there's messages that they're trying to handle the dragon problem. But it's more, they're more focused on getting everybody to safety and getting them out right now.
So the whole dragon thing's probably one of those missing story,
Yeah, it's probably one of the missing episodes in one of these Hero School special episodes.
Which I'm sure El Pantera would have help and stuff,
Yeah, or maybe it's one of the ones you do when you guys get back. All right, I'm gonna have to actually go through this recording and edit it for the first time ever.
I'm back.
No, the first time is when you tried to edit out all the pauses and stuff like that.
All the pauses and curses, and I banged my head against the wall for a year. Because
I just realized that was a complete utter clusterfuck. So.
It was. It really, really was. Because I don't have 15 hours to edit, a video when I'm doing time lapses and, role writing and whatnot. But
I'm back.
Basically, Josh, a few days after arriving, maybe a day after your fight with the Tal Samat, with Gregor, you guys received a communication, via bird, that the Iron Horse was successfully launched and commandeered by Mayor Muttons for the evacuation of citizens. All right.
Okay.
And it has left en route to Burtonville, from Burtonville to Mitzelberg as part of its evacuation.
Okay.
No, not from pardon me. They're not taking that route. I'm sorry. The message has reached Mitzelberg that they're leaving from Burtonville to Trelane.
Okay.
Which is a small island to the south of Burtonville. It's not that small, but it's large enough to handle the citizens, at least to get them to safety as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And a general evacuation order has been put out to the smaller surrounding towns for their own safety. But after that communication, that was the last one you received.
Okay.
So it's been about a week since anything.
Okay.
And you guys are, yeah.
I would also reckon that after the captain helped McAllister with his difficulties and helped him come to terms with this awesome radiant power that he has gathered in such a small time, that he's made up with Gregor, apologized to him, that he was too overzealous in their training
Yeah.
or their little challenge, and hopefully things were cleared up.
Yeah, Gregor and your other bunkmates, they kind of tight with you kids right now. Like, you guys are just as skilled, or in their eyes, you know, you guys are skilled, they're skilled, you guys are a bit of like a ragtag group of rejects. They're a bit of a ragtag group of rejects. You know, very little discipline and stuff. So they kind of like clicked with you guys. You know, and they're kind of treating you like younger brothers, even though you beat Gregor. And McAllis, you find out that Lieutenant Wobblecrank is actually he's also a Radiant Knight.
Oh, so he is probably the one that tutored him or something, yeah?
Yeah, he's a Radiant Knight, and he is a Golem pilot. In addition to being a Radiant Knight.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard, Josh, that of course the captain, she's known as the Gun Maiden, and she's also a Golem armor pilot.
Okay.
You don't know,
Heard
like,
that.
you haven't figured out what class she is, but you can extrapolate as much, being her name is the Gun Maiden.
You notice over the last few days, Loki's been really keeping to himself, and he hasn't had Spike or Chip out very much, unless he
Just
needed
Vex.
to.
Just
Just Vex.
interesting.
So it's mostly been him and Vex talking amongst themselves.
McAllis would have given you your space. Shot it with you if you wanted it.
The reason he's been, we would have probably told you why he's been talking to Vex, because you do know he is trying to change.
Yeah.
And Vex being this perfect, Vex kind of median between the overzealous good guy Chip and the complete and total dickhead of Spike. Vex is more like a normal person. But he does lean towards the good side, and he's mainly been just chatting with Vex.
Yeah. You noticed over this time with Vex, he more often than not pretends to behave like an animal in front of other people.
Yeah.
And he confides with you in private. Unless, of course, you kind of like, no, you're going to talk to me right now.
Yeah.
So on this, McAllis would be just hanging over the ship, sitting on the rail of it, and just watching the mountains as they're crossing.
Something that would have happened. You notice, I'm assuming McAllis goes flying occasionally.
Oh yeah.
You would have noticed you would have noticed a fox. Go ahead.
Sorry. He had to for a while he wasn't flying because he thought that his wings, he kept on getting glimpses of that, his wings getting tore off. So he was getting help with that, and then gradually he started flying again. So he's okay.
Well, when we started flying again, you would have noticed a fox following you.
Okay, it's a flying fox.
Yeah, Vex can fly. And if you ever asked Loki about it, he would have told you he was concerned because of what happened to your wings, so he was keeping an eye on you through Vex.
McAllis would have thanked you for that.
Okay. So as you're sitting on the rail, Loki and Vex walk over, and Loki would lean on the rail. What are you looking at?
Just the mountains, thinking about home.
How many mountains where I'm from?
Yeah.
A lot of zealots.
I imagine. Because home for me is a flying mountain.
It just sounds dangerous. Well, I suppose if you have wings.
Well, yeah. A lot of people can't actually get up, so you have to either fly or have an airship, and even airships aren't always welcome.
Yeah, but you try to walk around on a flying mountain. One wrong step.
It's actually quite safe for visitors.
Huh.
Remember, a lot of Sky Kings are Beast Bloods. But, yeah, they can all fly.
So they're like you and Kala. They're beast bloods.
Well, I think so. Sort of, maybe.
You seem to embrace your beast blood heritage. Kala seems to. She didn't want to show it.
I had to embrace it. The Griffins are the power of the Helligan.
Why would some embrace it and some not? I mean, it's just part of who you are.
It's difficult to explain, but if you don't fly, you're not welcome in the Helligan.
Interesting. Well, I can't fly. Vex can.
So it would be difficult for you to get that.
Yeah. No, eventually Vex will get larger.
You will?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As sorcerers gain more souls go into creating their monstrous familiar.
I see.
You've met Spike and Chip. Vex is an amalgam of both of them.
I understand. You spent a lot of time with Vex. He seems a lot calmer.
He's been teaching me.
And Michaelis nods to that.
Vex is different than Spike or Chip.
Of course, you're the only one that can hear them. I can't hear them.
Yes.
Oh, Vex doesn't like to speak around anyone.
You think everybody back in Burtonville is okay?
I hate to say this, but I doubt it.
Everything has just taken so long, and I understand why. It's just taken so long. I just hope we are not too late.
Vex said something to me the other day. Sometimes you can't rush what needs to be done.
Indeed. Especially mobilizing an army.
Exactly. All we can hope is that as many innocent people got out with the evacuation as possible. If we go in, we neutralize the threat, we can bring them back.
I hope nobody's too hurt. I hope the others in the castle are okay. And as he says that,
They're strong.
he's thinking about, Kala.
They're strong, Michaelis. I'm sure Kala is fine.
They are strong. Those evildoers are stronger.
I will leave you to your thoughts.
So, like, as you guys are chatting, and as the days are sort of bleeding in and out, there's about a dozen large sky ships that you guys are flying on, which are, they're much bigger. Most of them are much bigger, being that they have to carry Golem armor and Tau Samat.
Are they see the mountain range, Nelson? Are they they're not taking any detours, are they? Are they flying directly over it? Or are they detouring the center spot where that dragon comes from?
No, they're flying. They're flying. They're pretty much making a beeline to Burtonville.
You said we're not on Tilly Fizz's ship?
Yeah, no. Like
Okay,
her ship,
I would.
her ship has it's primarily in the air because of the balloons.
Yeah.
It's like another dirigible, but it has a pair of balloons, to keep it up. Amongst other sort of spinning fan devices that are aimed downwards, it seems to have a great deal of technology, being utilized because her squad is entirely comprised of
Golem armor pilots?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would have offered, I'm assuming I have access to parchment.
Yeah, sure.
I would have offered Vex's services as a messenger.
Okay.
Because he can fly between ships.
All right. No, they actually have like a bit of there's these devices that kind of sort of look like dream catchers, right? Except that they're made entirely out of like copper lining, and you see like little lightning bolts firing from ship to ship in very specific pulses, and that's how they're carrying across their Morse code, basically.
Okay, but does Vex need to sleep and eat?
No.
Okay, I'm going to send him to fly ahead to Burtonville.
You send him to fly ahead to Burtonville?
Yeah.
Okay, so you send Vex is ahead. Vex is faster than these ships, because these ships generally have to move much slower because they have a heavier load, much heavier load than the smaller ship that you guys came in on. Right? Even the ships that have the infantry groups, those are the smaller ships. They're a little bit faster, but they don't want to get too ahead of the main force. Each fire team, it consists of 4 gnomes and a Tau Samat. Right? You guys are kind of with your ragtag group. You'll be on one of their ships. Gregor being the Tau Samat member of that fire team. You're getting along. There's jokes, of course, like Emerson, the talkative one. You find out that the talkative one, no, not Emerson. The talkative one was Gary. Remember in the card game, the one that didn't want to shut up. He's Gary, and Dunalo is the one that was very silent. Gary keeps yapping and yapping, talking about he could fly too, but only for a short time. He's one of those kind of characters. And as the days go by, being that Vex never needs to stop, he eventually, as you're checking in through, because I'm assuming you're using him to scout too.
Yeah. I would be watching through his eyes and telling them anything I see on the way.
All right, let me share the map.
Telling the captain of this ship.
The map with you guys. This is the general route, like a straight line, right across the most dangerous part of the Forgotten Peaks. But you're traveling with a company, so you're like blotting out the sun with all your ships. Yeah. Right?
I would also tell Vex when going over there to stay in the clouds and be careful.
Yeah, Vex, Vex circumnavigates as best he can. Maybe going a little bit on the safer route towards the Squirrelwood.
Yeah.
And just as he starts approaching Burtonville, like he's not even a day away. Right? Like you in the far distance, you swear you could make out this large, because Burtonville is a pretty large city. Right? You see Burtonville in the distance, and then you can see some objects floating in the air. About a dozen of them turn to look at you. To look at what's his name, Vex.
Vex.
About a dozen of them turn and catch Vex's notice, and Vex catches theirs, and they begin flying towards you. And as you all grow closer to each other, you can see, and of course, you being a sorcerer, know that they are wild geists. They're ghosts that, if they have sorcerers themselves, if they're tied to sorcerers, they're not taking animal forms.
Yeah.
They all look like human ghosts, human geists, and they're all coming at Vex.
Aggressively?
Well, it looks like they're pretty aggressive.
I'm going to dismiss Vex.
All right, so you lose sight of everything.
Yeah.
By this time, you're sort of what I don't know why cavalcade is coming to mind, but it's more like a flotilla.
Yeah.
You know, your flotilla of skyships is, cresting over the Forgotten Peaks.
I immediately call from McCallus.
Yes?
We need to go see the captain of the ship. There are wild geists in the air over Burtonville.
Really?
Yes.
Scheiße. We better go immediately.
Yes. And we'll go see the captain.
What is this? What does it mean?
You would call them ghosts.
I understand that. But come, let's go quick.
Head to the captain.
Get to the captain, yes.
The captain is one of you know the captain. That's Emerson. He's one of those reject gnomes, but he keeps fairly to himself. You know, he doesn't socialize too much with anybody. But yeah, Emerson is the one handling the flying of the ship.
Captain Emerson.
He goes, hey, yeah,
There are wild geists. There are wild geists in the air over Burtonville.
Wait, come again?
Ghosts.
There's ghosts over Burtonville.
Yes.
You know, he kind of like takes back and he's like, he can't believe you. He's like, what? Wait. Hold the phone. There's
Hold
a
the
ghost.
phone?
Hold the telegraph machine.
Ah. Okay.
Look, I got a cousin that's been working on this. I thought I told you guys about it. I didn't tell you guys about it. I meant, well, I haven't really been. Look, that's besides the point. You said there's ghosts over. Like, our target destination is Burtonville.
Yes.
Why would
You know, I've been having Vex. I've been having Vex scout ahead.
Yeah. I know. I believe. I'm not trying to say I don't believe you, but why? There was, our information that we were given from the captain has nothing to do with ghosts.
I don't know.
The
We know
news
that.
intelligence.
We knew the
We don't
town
know
was.
what.
Go ahead, Micah.
We don't know what it means. It's something terrible must have happened.
We know the town was evacuated. This could be a result of that,
So he's like,
or whatever caused the evacuation.
Ooh, man. He whistles over for Dunlow. He's like, look. D, come here. Yeah, you're gonna need to relay this message. This is it's not good news. You know, Dunlow just raises an eyebrow. He stays pretty much mute. Like sometimes you question whether or not he can actually talk. He's like, look, our friend Loki over here said his little pet scouted some ghosts over Burtonville. And then Dunlow reacts kind of like the same. Like his look is like, oh no way. It's just, you got a number? What did it look like? A lot, a little? Would you manage to get a number?
They started flying at him. I didn't want to risk Vex too much. How many did it look to be flying at him? Like half a dozen?
It looked to be about a dozen flying at him, but they weren't the only ones in the area. There wasn't enough time to count how many there were in the area, other than a dozen flying at him.
There were about a dozen flying at Vex when I dismissed him. There are several more in the area. There wasn't enough time to count.
So more?
Does Captain Fizz...
Hilly Fizz.
Hilly Fizz. Does Captain Hilly Fizz's ship have a sorcerer aboard?
Well, I mean, not so much.
Anyone that understands souls and the magic therein.
Oh, yeah. The LT. You remember, he's of, he's our platoon guy.
Yeah. Then we should speak with him. Can we speak with him through the telegraph? Could I do it?
Yeah, sure. D, you can handle that, right? You got those magic fingers. And he starts pulling levers and stuff. He starts yelling out, to the other guys to help him. Basically taking a lot of steam out of the forward momentum.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're talking to Dunlow, a lot of the other ships start following suit. The larger ships never really had much steam in them to begin with. But, you're still having a forward momentum, but there's no wind in your hair, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, what's the message you'd like to convey?
What was that LT's name again?
Lieutenant Wobblecrank.
Yeah, Wobblecrank. Lieutenant Wobblecrank. I was having Vex scout the area ahead. This is Loki. I was having Vex scout the area ahead. There seemed to be wild geists in the air over Burtonville. A dozen flew at my familiar. There were several others in the area, too many to count in a short time before I had to dismiss him.
It takes about a minute. You get a communique back from one of the larger ships. This is Lieutenant Wobblecrank. If I understand your message correctly, you said you spotted ghosts over our target destination. Please verify.
Correct, sir. I spotted wild geists or ghosts over the target destination. I can send Vex out again to re-verify if you wish.
You get a message back stating. All ahead, all stop, and then you start seeing lightning being relayed back and forth between all the ships. Basically, same orders, until eventually your entire flotilla stops. You're right above the Forgotten Peaks when this happens. You know, you're right above that mountain range. You're about to crest the mountain range into like the Frost Garden area.
Yeah.
Mikhail's a bit stunned. We are stopping. What's happening? And he looks at Emerson.
There's a considerable amount of time that passes before the next communique.
I would resummon Vex in that time.
All right. Yeah, it's about like maybe 20 minutes. You know, you spend in complete silence, and everybody in your ship, you know, the guys, especially Gary, he's really yammering on, like, oh, what's going on? Why we always gotta wait? Like, they always keep us waiting. Like, we're gonna be in the dark. Why we gotta be in the dark for? I don't like to be in the dark. I mean, just point me in a direction. I need to go. I need to shoot something. I need to stab something. Just let me know. Why are we stopping here? Ain't nothing getting done. What's going? Hey, you know, he comes and starts harassing Lucas. Lucas, what's you're going back? We're getting messages back. We haven't seen. There's lightning bouncing all over the place. Like, there's things happening there. You know, moving and shaking, and we doing is sitting here with our pants behind our ankles.
There's ghosts over the air in Burtonville, or in the air over Burtonville.
yeah, that's a good one. But why? Why don't we just we shoot them? Just pow pow.
Don't know, but revising the strategy, I guess.
You have cold iron ammunition?
We got all kinds of bullets here. Like whatever we need. We got what? Look. We just need to move. I don't like. I don't like. You know. It's not so bad when we're moving. We need to be moving. We need to be going forward, not standing here doing nothing. If we ain't gonna do nothing, he kind of like reaches in, and he starts patting down Dunlow. You know, Dunlow quietly just looks at him like, what the hell? And he reaches into Dunlow's pocket, pulls out like the deck of cards. And he's like, while we have time, right? Starts shuffling them.
Friendly game, sure.
Yeah. So,
And the reason, honestly, you can see Lucas smile a bit, and he does say a friendly game, sure. And the reason he does it, he knows somebody like Dunlow is just, this guy's going to go crazy if he has to sit still and do nothing for too long, which is dangerous.
So,
hovering in the air over a dangerous mountain range.
Yeah. So again, like I said, it's about 20 minutes before you get a communication back. You know, and it states for all specialists to, they gives back clearance to use Arcana weaponry. Right? To use it, to do so sparingly and only when needed. To gear up and proceed with caution. And those are the orders, and one by one, the ships, they start again on their forward momentum. But this time, they're only moving about half as fast as they were before.
Okay, I am going to quickly speak out. Your Arcana weaponry uses arcane power tubes, correct?
You're playing cards with Gary. He's like, yeah. They
Can they use any arcane mana?
I mean, I ain't got nothing to put in there, but
bring me all your arcane power tubes on this ship.
Yeah, sure. Roll a D100.
Mikhail stands beside him. You're planning to pass the whole ship?
84.
84? Now roll me a D6.
2.
Alright. So, on this ship, there's the middle range. What's the middle range power tube again?
Medium. Or small. tiny, small, and large.
Yeah, so there's 84 small power tubes.
Okay, I essentially what I do is gather power, cast combust without overcharging it, just off the side of the ship, where it won't hurt anybody, and pour all that mana into a power tube.
Yeah, there's of course there's a communication like what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
I tell them to tell I tell them to tell the sorcerer he is
roll a persuasion check for the guys on your ship.
I'm gonna perform a help action.
All right, awesome.
That is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Plus, oh shit, I get to do it with advantage.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You sure I critted that one?
They'll do it. They'll do it. However, they tell you a little information, right? This is Gary, the talkative one. He's like, wait, ho. All right, look. We know you got to do what you got to do. I see what you're doing. It's good stuff, but those tubes aren't exactly supposed to be empty.
Well, they are. So
he's like, oh, this is gonna be our tales for this. And Dunalo, the quiet one, you see him with his eyes closed, just sort of nodding his head slowly in agreement, and saddening agreement, as there's a flash of lightning as he telegraphs the LT. There's a moment, and there's like a painful pause for the rest of the crew before they receive a message, and Dunalo turns around, and he just shakes his head, and you hear him making a sound. He's like, he doesn't talk very often, and this is one of those times where he just goes, "You can keep doing what you're doing."
I would say if any other ships need to send over the power tubes any way they can, if they have a way to do so.
You say that, and Gregor from the background, like you can hear him scratching the back of his head. He's like, well, they probably haven't played around with their eventually, Emerson, the one piloting the ship, he's like, yeah, we're not supposed to so much use that ammunition without clearance.
Oh no, you're going to get in lots of trouble.
I don't know about you guys, but we're probably going to get it when this is all over with. So yeah,
But if it helps, everything should be fine.
Yeah, it's about 30 of those tubes, but given the fact that you have so much time before even getting to where you spotted those geists, you're able to fill them all up. And they all break out our Arcana pistols, and those, one of those empty tubes, you see, Gary kind of like go into the stockpile. He pulls out, a belt with a pair of Arcana tubes, and two of the tubes that you get, he pops out of his pistol, and he kind of like very shamefully hands them to you. And he's like, yeah, you don't mind, right? Yeah, okay.
I'll charge them.
Yeah. Like I said, you guys kind of like built a camaraderie because you're almost of the same character. Like, you guys are good, but you kind of don't all follow the rules all the time, except for maybe Micah.
Micah, yeah, probably more likely, but he's tagging along because he doesn't know what to do about all this stuff.
Luckily, I have an endless supply of mana, so
Yeah, he's a sorcerer.
So
Um,
is Loki powering all the ships?
Loki's not powering the ships. Loki's refilling the empty arcane power tubes.
All
And
of them? And every ship?
no, not on every ship. Only the ones on this ship. And there was about, a little over 30 of them that were about a third of them almost that were empty. But you can understand by
Right.
the last communication being they have been cleared to use the specialist, weapons that they weren't supposed to be using them, and this ragtag group that you've been bunking with kind of has been using them and not really supposed to. And luckily Loki decided to, check them out and fill them up. But because he's gathering power and using combust, he kind of blew their cover.
I'm using combustion for more into them.
Yeah, I know, because you have greedy power.
Yeah.
Michael looks at Loki. If you want to do that to the other ship, if you close your eyes, I can take you over.
I'll do it on as many ships needed.
So you see some lightning fire off of your ship back to the LT ship, and it's almost without missing a beat. Other lightning comes back, and you just see Dunalo just sort of start rubbing his head silently, and he turns to look at you and just shakes his head. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. In his own way, letting you know no other ship needs to be have anything recharged.
That's a shame because this is getting quite exciting.
So, pardon me.
The only difference, and McCallus would probably notice this as well as everybody else. You've seen a full Arcana tube that they have, and the liquid in it's kind of a glowing blue. When Loki fills them up, they're a glowing yellow.
They notice it and they're kind of looking concerned, especially Emerson. Emerson, he's like, he steps away from the wheel for a moment and kind of like wants to examine them closer before you kind of notice that the drift from as they're diving lower, leaving the altitude of the mountain, the change in air pressure is kind of carrying it to and fro. And he's like, oh, okay. Goes back to steering keeping the skyship en route.
If anybody asks about it, he'll explain that all mages have a different aura to their magic.
Probably McCallus, noticing the concern, he would have asked, what is wrong? And you explained to him that.
Because I assumed they were filled artificially before.
But yeah, you assume whatever you want to assume. But you're on the forward ships. You're on one of the forward ships. The larger ships, the distance between your ships and theirs have closed. Being that there was a grand change in speed.
Yeah.
And you guys are.
Is it possible? Yeah. Sorry. Is it possible to have one of these guys teach me how to use an arcane power or an arcane pistol?
They'll show you how to shoot it, but you won't be able to apply your proficiency.
Okay.
When you start leveling up and getting like feats.
Yeah.
What's your intelligence?
10.
Okay, yeah. These things are really hard for you to understand.
So, see these geists and ghosts. What would McCallus know about them?
General knowledge?
knowing the stories of Schreckenberg and the Wraiths and ghosts in general, is his radiant power able to affect them and stuff?
Wraiths would be greatly affected. Like they almost don't exist when there's radiant power involved, right? They're like paper. But the ghosts, normal ghosts, the ghosts of creatures that were once alive, though they're weak to it, but they're a little bit more resilient than wraiths.
Okay.
You know, wraiths are more like shadow creatures. And I guess from Himmelster, that's kind of like the knowledge you have from of them.
Yeah.
You know, and you're also a knight, so you have channel divinity. Life is for the living, so you can literally turn any undead that's a minion.
Yeah.
And with that said, like what I was saying when you were diving, changing altitude, you guys are about above. See a straight line. You guys be dipping down to the northern part of the southern Swirlwood, and you're over. You're probably having a few flashbacks at this moment as you're sort of crossing that river that you thought you got rid of the gems.
Mike is shaking his head.
Or it's not the same river, but that's the feeling. You're remembering the moment you thought you got rid of the gems, and maybe Micah's wing, if he has them out, or his shoulder if he doesn't, starts to get that sort of residual, mental stress pain. Like it kind of hurts, but it doesn't really.
He's like, as soon as he just, he starts nursing his shoulder, getting that strike of that memory caress his brain, his mind.
So as you guys move past there, some of the ships that are a little bit ahead of yours, on your port side, you just see light, flashing out rapidly. And then you see like everyone on the ship, like including Emerson. Emerson pulls like a lever, and everyone was gearing up in the time that it took to get here. It seems Emerson is he's a dual wielder with those pistols. Gary, he dual wields his pistols. Dunalo is a single pistol guy, and so is Gregor. His is a little larger though than the rest, and you see, what is it? There's this plus this. There's about 8 of these ghosts flying towards your ship right now, and when you catch notice of them, you start to notice the shimmer, as there seems to be. It's not the endless sea, but there's so many ghosts that it's like a horde of them.
Oh my god.
And the guys on the ship, they start popping shots. What do you guys do?
How far are these things?
They have to get within 60 feet for the pistols to even have range. So they're basically right up on top of you guys.
And there's a horde of them?
There's only 8 of them on your ship right now. What do you guys want to do?
Look, Mike's here.
Yeah.
Micah gets ready. Micah, because he hasn't done it yet. He his blood. His wings explode from his back,
All right.
bathed in light, and he gets his sword and shield ready.
And does Loki do anything?
Loki would pull his dagger, begin to gather power, and target one of them. Vex, combust. At a square right between two of them.
Yeah, you like they cry out, and being that you understand the ether talk, they actually cry out like in pain. And roll a perception check.
12. Straight 12.
Oh God, that's it. Yeah, you hear them.
Unless
you hear
someone
words,
wants to aid me.
You hear words. They'd have to be able to speak that too, or understand it. That's something that doesn't make sense to aid you in listening to a language that you know.
I could probably hear them screaming, but I can't probably go, oh shit, that's creepy.
Basically, Lucas, you swear you hear like in and amongst the screams words being said, but you can't quite make out what's said, as the ones that you cast combust on, they just disappear in flames.
Wait, nobody fire a shot.
They burn up, and all right, because you said wait, roll only a d6.
Can I eat them?
1.
Well, I say that because they start firing, and then they hold their the others, other members hold their attacks, and only one more of those ghosts gets done. So there's only 5, but they're closing. They're starting to close in on you now. Some of them fly
Vex.
through the ship. Yeah.
Vex, ask them if they can understand our language.
Vex looks at you, raises an eyebrow at first, and then relays that message. But the ghosts charge. And there's ether talk speaking you hear it everywhere, loud and clear. This time it doesn't require Vex, and it doesn't require a perception check. You being able to understand it, there's a slew of they're screaming, they're not banshees, but they're like wailing away in pain, and they're saying they can't control themselves, they're sorry, they're apologizing, and they can't stop. To stop them, they can't stop themselves. And out of the 5, there's enough for one of each. Let's see. On McAllis, what's your AC, McAllis?
17.
17?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I think that's a hit.
Where's my sheet? Oh, there it is.
Well, yeah. No. You get missed. And one on. Good God. What's your AC is higher than 17, right, Lucas?
21.
Yeah. That one definitely misses you. So they're striking out.
See what they said, Nelson? Did you say that McAllis understood what they were saying?
No, not McAllis, only Loki.
All right.
Loki's the only one that can understand this language.
So as all this action is going around and seeing Loki and why he responded, McAllis reacts, What is it? What's wrong? What do you think's happening?
They're yelling that they can't control themselves. They're being controlled and apologizing for attacking us.
They're being controlled.
Like you say that, and Gregor kind of loses it. Like, you know, everybody was being attacked. They all managed to dodge out of the way of getting damage, but Gregor does his little thing where he like fans the gun and he fires his triple shot, and he takes 3 of them out right away. And in kind, the other members just start laying out shots, and they destroy all the ghosts by your ship. They're all like, "Whoa, hey," you know, and Gregor's the first one to sort of panic. Gregor being the biggest of this bunch.
I look at Dunlow. Relay back to the other ships. They're going to have to attack. The ghosts are being controlled.
Dunlow nods. He sheathes one of his pistols. No, Dunlow has one pistol. So he keeps his pistol up, and he goes back down. He puts his little headphone on, kneels at it, he's trying to keep an eye out, and he's tapping away, sending lightning through the air. As he does so, you see the communication interrupted, and he's like, "Urgh!" Like you hear him like, "Urgh! Son of a!" As the lightning catches other ghosts as they're flying through the air at other ships, but they get consumed by the lightning, and he starts, firing again. And you see him, he turns to you and is like, and now he's just like tapping away. Just random stuff. And Brian, would you like to roll me a d20?
Holy shit, look at that face.
What face? Whose face? My face? Your face?
Whose face? Patches.
Oh. Wow. The evil kitty.
Sorry, what did you want me to roll?
Just a flat
D20
to see where the scene goes.
All right. So this is a big scurry battle. All right. Okay. Now that is a 10.
That's a 10. All right. Not all of the ships, but you notice several of the ships in the flotilla actually start doing the same. And like the lightning is being directed away from the communication network and actually used to attack the ghosts.
Okay.
But yeah, there's you guys are assailed ceaselessly. And oh god, this time there's 11 that head your way. I start rushing the ship. So you see them peel away from the horde down below, and you notice that there's nearly a dozen of them coming for you.
Loki's going to try his hand at this Arcana pistol.
The college can only hit what's in front of her.
Yeah, you'll get the Arcana pistol from Emerson.
Okay.
He'll give you he'll hand you his and try to give you the quick rundown. Look, point, pull.
Luckily, I don't have to. I can just gather power to refill the Arcana tube inside. So, 15. I can still use my dex, right?
Yes, you can.
But not my
Not your
proficiency.
Not your proficiency.
So 16, 17, 18 to hit.
An 18 to hit is definitely a hit. So if you want, you can describe how your like unskilled shot takes out one of these ghosts.
So Loki just pretty much follows Emerson's instructions, lines up the sights on the gun, aims at one of them, and squeezes the trigger. The shot zaps out and slams into it, and you see Loki. Oh my God! I did it!
Well done.
You'll see Emerson, like, he'll rest his arm on your shoulder as there's two more flying your way, and he pops those two with like two quick fires of the pistol. He goes, hey, "Good job." So, like, as they're drawing close, wait, he downed two more, right? So that's actually 9. I don't even know where. I'll keep it in my head. Oh God. And then, there's the torrent of this arcane pistol fire. And the pistol that Gregor, the Talisman, is wielding is actually an arcane cannon. And it's like much larger beams of fire, just pow, pow, pow. And there's only... What happened? Hangout's goofed up.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Hangout's just bugged out on me.
Oh.
Yeah, you're back.
Did you guys hear when I was describing the arcane cannon of
Yes.
Gregor? Yeah, so...
Yeah, just a torrent of energy. Pow, pow, pow.
There you go, a torrent of energy. Pow, pow, pow. Like, and you see them, like, when they get hit with the arcane pistols, they don't get consumed by anything. They just kind of get blasted backwards into ribbons of energy before they dissipate. And you hear the wails, the screams. For Michalis, it sounds akin to a banshee.
Okay.
It's enough to sort of shake you and be on the defensive. But for Lucas, you can identify these as clear screams of pain, agony, regret. You know that these ghosts don't want to be here.
Yeah, I guess knowing what Loki has told Michalis that these things are being controlled. Michalis is hearing those creepy screams, but he's wincing at the thought that these are souls being controlled against their will.
Yeah, and there's still 4 of them, and they're they close in on the ship, and they're about to like charge you guys.
Michalis would see something very odd that he's probably never seen before. As Loki levels the arcane pistol that he got from Emerson at another ghost and goes to fire at it. You can actually see, you wouldn't see it if he was human, but because of the scales and the way light reflects off him, you can actually see a bit of water begin to, a single tear kind of travel down the scales of his cheek.
Oh, Loki.
And if I can't fire again, I will try.
Yeah, well, these ghosts haven't had their turn, and neither has Michalis. I want to know what Michalis does.
Okay.
And Michalis, mind you, the entire sky is alight with lightning and arcane energies from countless pistols through this flotilla.
These things are everywhere.
Yeah.
I could use it. Alright. Technically, I could destroy 9 of them, couldn't I? If they were minions.
Yeah, they are minions, but they're undead, so a defeat minions action doesn't work on them.
But channel divinity, though.
Yes, but your life is for the living will.
Which I've never used before.
Well, looky here! Oh, what did I just press? I pressed the wrong shortcut, and I messed up my thing. Oh, I typed wrong. You see? You know, because I gotta do your rules for you too. All right, so,
Yeah,
Channel
reading
Divinity
them.
Life. Yeah, as an action, you may present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censuring the unliving. You may defeat/destroy a number of undead or sorrow minions in an encounter. The number of undead or sorrow minions defeated, destroyed is in this fashion equal your level, right? And your level 8, which I think you have Undead Bane.
What level?
We're 9. We're 9.
9. So you can defeat 9 plus an additional amount equal to your awesome power. Right? No. That's the priest.
So that's 10, is it?
If your awesome power is only 1, yeah, you can defeat 10. And there's only 4 additional right now, by close enough to your ship.
So I'd be wasting it if I use that.
You know what? You can, with an epic description, destroy 10. Even some of the ones that are closer to other ships.
Okay, well, you see, Mikala sees Loki's single tear, sniff, sniff, and that sends a ripple through him emotionally, seeing him like this and this whole situation, and seeing these things gain speed and coming in and healing and wheeling, and Mikala searches deep within himself and starts to pulsate. The light within him pulsates and gathers and gathers. And then, as he closes his eyes, he just says, "I'm sorry." And then opens them, and he traces his hand. As he does this, as one by one, the forms of these geists explode with ripples of light.
Yeah, they start exploding with ripples of light, as you said. And there's none by your ship. And this assault, it lasts seemingly for an eternity. You know, there seems to be no end to these ghosts. They come at you about 12, 24, 5, you know. They're attacking, and they seem to be attacking randomly. And this goes on for hours as you guys slowly creep past this horde. It goes on for hours until eventually there's only these geists flying through the air at the back of your flotilla, where the heaviest ships are, where the gun maiden herself, and the bulk of the golem armor pilots are. And eventually you see a few similar sites with just huge swaths of these things being destroyed by light. You can tell that it was divine energy, flowing through that area. Before you guys are completely in the clear, the flotilla is over Newtown, and you guys begin to descend upon Burtonville. The streets of Burtonville are dead. It's silent.
And this sends a ripple of fear through Mikala. He just, no. Oh no.
Loki looks at Emerson, he kind of wipes his cheek, trying to he basically centers himself and tries to act like his normal self. He kind of looks at Emerson, can I keep this?
He snatches it away from you. He goes, T will have my neck. It's a company issue.
You can tell him you lost it.
He looks at you like, we're gonna be in enough trouble as it is. Come
You can
on.
tell him I stole it.
God, Loki.
He buries his face in his hand like, oh. This is a lose-lose for me, kid.
Okay, you can keep it. I'll ask the LT for one later.
He goes, that's a better idea. And he sort of grabs his chest. Like, what you just said was more frightening than dealing with the undead.
Or wait a minute. I could say you loaned it to me to deal with the undead, and then I could ask him if I could keep it later.
He's still clutching his chest. Just sheathes, back in its holster the arcade pistol that he lent you. And still, like, not taking his eyes off you, you hear the click of the strap of that.
Okay, fine.
He's like, damn it, kid. You're almost gonna make me wish to fly back into the ghost over there.
Where exactly are we landing, Nelson? Is it in the middle of the city, or is it the outskirts of the city? Or
you guys descend just above the city.
I mean, is it completely deserted looking?
For the most part, like you see stragglers sort of running to and fro. Nobody addresses you. Nobody's walking casually. Nobody. The one or two people you do manage to spy, they're like running from building to building.
Do we get a sense of any sort of energies in the air? Is there any radiances? Is there anything where any magic is strong, or is it just?
Well, you can't detect magic, so.
But I can activate my ability to see
my eyes.
Well, no, it just looks quiet. That's all it.
But I can activate my ability to see magic.
Yeah.
Macalus turns on, see what you can see.
Loki activates his ability to see magic. First off, there's a great deal of magic on the ship, and on every other ship. Other than that, looking at the floor, there's small, like, residual spots of magic. They're very weak, for the most part. Until, in the distance you might see a bit of magic running or scurrying, moving about. But you guys are already moving past that. Where the flotilla is moving, they begin moving past Burtonville to land on the shores of just beyond the docks.
I tell Macalus there's small residual traces of magic here and there in the city, and some flitting magic flitting back and forth back that way. Other than that, I don't see anything.
Okay. As we pass, do we see Dalton Castle?
Yeah, you definitely passed Dalton Castle.
And how does it look?
Abandoned.
Does it just look the same? Is it structurally? Does it look the same or anything?
Yeah, it's still. I mean, it's as beat up as it always as it was when you left.
And Macalus just keeps on watching it, and this bad feeling just grows within him.
Do you want me to have Vex fly down there and into the building?
Yeah, see what he can see.
Vex, check out Dalton Castle. Stay in the shadows.
Yeah. At that time, you start seeing lightning bounce back and forward through the flotilla. Dunalo gets back to his station. I think it would be, yep. Sorry about that. That was a fairly
Can I
big
just
sneeze.
take a minute here?
Yeah, sure. We're coming about the end of this special episode. This special episode of Hero School called The Return Home. Yeah, word from our sponsors. So, Mike, what's up?
Not much.
So you snuck in here. I was like, your time. We were waiting for you for 5:30, like this time, and we killed so much time just sitting here in madness.
I had shit to do. I said yesterday I was going to be back here at about 5:30. I'd be down to do it then, and I showed up here at like 5:30.
It's fine. We can do the return home. Then if Nelson's still game, you and Saber and Barlow can go look for Belladonna. We can see how Burtonville got like this.
I'm just hoping that it doesn't involve El Pantera being a small stain on the floor.
We'll find out. But we're almost finished. Just waiting for Brian to get back.
Yeah, and I realized the first time I made El Pantera, I didn't include all of his languages. Dude has a lot of languages.
You used almost nothing of what you had when you played El Pantera.
True.
You do not need dice, okay?
You used 2 performances
not for you.
and Lariat with a sleeper mixed in.
Admittedly, it was really good. But it's also the fact that I only had 2 performances.
The
Yeah.
dice are not for you.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Currently, El Pantera knows like 6 languages.
All right, so we'll get into that in a minute. Oh, or in a few
He
minutes.
learned all those languages in his deep torpor. That's what happened.
Yeah. So back from our sponsors. You know, the silence.
The letter K.
The silence of Burtonville. Yeah, for knock. But like as Vex is flying through the flotilla, heading back to Dalton Castle, there's a web of lightning being fired from ship to ship. The communications they're live. Shortly after, when the back end of the flotilla, the larger ships having all the golem armors in them, you just see them all, one after the other, boom, 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 land heavily on the floors by the docks. They all take up positions. Some have, oversized swords. Some have, arc swords. Others have large cannons or pairs of guns. There's a variety in the golem armors. But they drop first to secure the area as the rest of the flotilla lands in the waters by the docks. There are no ships docked at the docks currently. So yeah, when Vex goes to explore Dalton Castle, it's completely abandoned. Right? There you don't find any bodies lying anywhere. You don't find any ghosts. You don't find any skeletons. You don't find anything as you explore, room after room after room, until you get to one room where you see Killian Freed on like his last throes of life. He was abandoned there, left and forgotten. And with that's where we fade to black for the end of The Return Home. Next time on Hero School!
and somewhere up in here is like, no, I knew we forgot something.